A very good evening to one and all present here and welcome to today's event. Chief Business Officer Abhishek Buglia will be unveiling an important update on our portfolio management service. Get all your questions answered regarding transferring your existing investments, ticket size, onboarding and much more. Over to you, Mr. Abhishek.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for taking your time out and joining for today's webinar. In today's webinar, the idea is to give everyone an update about where we stand in terms of our PMS license progress. As most of you are aware, we had applied for our SEBI PMS license in November of 2022. So in today's webinar, I'll give an update on where we are, what the process for transfer will be, what all tie-ups we have already done, and by when we'll launch. Of course, there will be a separate launch webinar regarding PMS, which will be done by Mohit and Sunil, where we will cover all the details related to the PMS strategies, fees, etc. But in today's webinar, the idea is to cover operational aspects, answer most of your operational questions, and get all your questions as well today, so that we can plan for our PMS launch better. For those who are not Mojo Infinity members, just a clarification. In Mojo Infinity, what we do is we advise our clients on stocks to buy and sell and manage their portfolio. In those cases, an investor goes and buys and sells the stock directly. However, once a PMS license is there, it works differently. So for now, I'll just start the presentation. As we move into the presentation, do note your questions, and at the end we will have a Q&A. The presentation is a short 10-minute presentation. It will not be a long one. However, we expect there will be a lot of questions. We'll note those down, the ones which we are not able to answer. The ones we have a ready answer to, we will answer them right away. We applied for our PMS license in November 2022. It was actually the end of November. 30th November is when we made the application. We received our license a couple of weeks back on 13th March. We're targeting to go live with our PMS in May of 2023. So from the time we have received the license till May, the activities which we are going to do is ensuring that we have the custodian on board, we have the account opening and account setup process on board, all the systems and technologies related to PMS on board. Plus, we will need specific manpower as well when we go live with PMS. So all of these is going to take around 2 months, and we expect we will go live with our PMS license sometime in May. Now, why did we think of applying for a PMS license? One of the feedbacks which we received from all our clients was that it was becoming difficult for them to keep a track of all the buy and sell recommendations which we're making. Sorry. Yeah, I'm back. I have a sore throat, so in between you may have pauses. And don't worry about the connection. More likely than not, we would have muted from here so that I can have a sip of water. So I was saying that one of the feedback which we received from most of our clients was that it is becoming difficult to keep a track of all the buy and sell recommendations, do the buy and sell in time, because people have their usual work in the market hours, and plus we have good amount of small and mid cap recommendations as well. Sometimes they have impact cost as well. So to manage all of that, PMS works much better. I will come into the details of why PMS works better in these cases later on. But for now, I'll just summarize by saying that it takes away all your operational headaches. All your operational headaches move to us, and we manage it for each and every client. Now, what are the investment strategies we are going to launch in PMS? Both Soul and Power will be launched in PMS. So those who are not our existing Mojo Infinity clients, we run 2 strategies currently. One is Soul and one is Power. Soul is the more aggressive one, where the allocation to small, mid and large cap can be unlimited. Power is a less aggressive one. There, the allocation to small cap is capped at 20%. So we launch both the strategies in PMS, both soul and power. The minimum investment will be rupees 50 lakhs in each strategy. So, some of the questions which we have received from our investors is, suppose we started with 60 lakhs and we made withdrawals and our value is currently at 48 lakhs. Can we start with 48 lakhs in PMS? No, when we start PMS, the minimum investment has to be 50 lakhs. The 50 lakhs can come in the form of transfer from a bank account, that is cash, or can be in the form of stocks. One can transfer the existing Infinity holdings from their current Demat account to the Demat account which will be opened for the PMS. Or it can be a mix of cash or stocks. However, it has to be a minimum of rupees 50 lakhs in each strategy. So 50 lakhs for soul, 50 lakhs for power. That's a regulatory requirement and we will have to follow that. Now, one of the most important part for PMS is onboarding, and I'll say why it is the most important part. Because once the onboarding is done, after that, from a client's perspective, from an investor's perspective, all they have to do is get regular reporting from us. Now, there are three aspects to the onboarding. One is the KYC, the other is opening of a custody account or a Demat account, and signing the PMS agreements and all the documents. Now, most of our clients will already be KYC compliant. However, for those who are not KYC compliant, the process will be very simple. Most of the process will be initiated at our end, and you will get a link to do basic verification in terms of OTP verifications and doing a sign up e-sign through the current process which we follow, something similar. E-sign will be required through Aadhaar authentication. So the online KYC process is going to be very simple. The Demat account will be opened with custodians like either ICICI Bank or HDFC Bank. Both the options will be there. One can choose which custodian to go with. And at the end of it, a PMS agreement will also be signed. This is again done online through Aadhaar authentication. Already most of you have done that when signing the PMS agreement, the advisory agreement. Once the account is open and set up, the amount is transferred from your bank account to the PMS bank account and investment can start. In case somebody is transferring securities, the deal slip has to be filled in, the transfer slip has to be filled in, and the stocks are transferred from your Demat account to the Demat account which is again in your name but under the PMS account. So again, in both the cases, it's just a transfer of funds or security, and it is a very simple process. We will assist you in detail in all of these. So this is the process for resident investors. A resident investor can be an individual, an HUF, a partnership, LLP, corporate, the usual legal structures in India. Now, how will the onboarding happen for NRIs? For NRIs, other than the other requirements, one additional requirement is opening of a bank and PIS account. So a new bank account is mandatory for every NRI when it comes to opening a PMS. So most of you may already have a bank account and there will be a PIS link to it. So it will be a PIS extension. So here again, we have done our tie-up with HDFC and ICICI. The other KYC, PMS agreement and Demat account opening requirements will be the same. The other question which we have often been asked is who will do the trading, who will open the accounts with the brokers, etc. All of this will be done by us. The way the PMS is structured is as follows. Suppose you are a resident Indian. In that case, the PMS has a pool bank account where all the funds come in from investors or the redemptions and sale proceeds come from investors. Each investor has a separate Demat account which is opened along with the PMS account opening. Once the purchase of securities is done, the units are credited to the Demat account. The Demat accounts balances and the cash balances are settled and validated by the custodian. In our case, the custodians are ICICI Bank and HDFC Bank. So there will be one pool bank account into which all the funds will come in. Each individual investor will have a separate demat account in their name. So suppose we open a PMS account for Mr. A who is based in Bangalore. So a new demat account in the name of Mr. A will be opened with, say, ICICI Bank. That is the custodian in this case. New bank account is not needed. The bank account is pooled and all the securities purchased in the name of Mr. A will be credited to that demat account. The holdings of securities, cash, reconciliation, all of that is done by the custodian. While we also do that, but an independent custodian which is regulated by RBI and by SEBI for this purpose as well, does all of this activity as part of a PMS. We will have tie-up with brokers to purchase and sell the stocks. So, except for doing the account opening and transferring of funds, after that, all the day-to-day activities, including purchase, sale of securities, reconciliation of units, stocks, reconciliation of cash balances, everything is the responsibility of the portfolio manager. Of course, there are many entities like custodians, etc., which also do the same activity and help the portfolio manager in that. But all the operational headache moves away from the investor to us. That is the most important part. When it comes to NRI, the structure is very different. There is only a small difference in the structure. Basically, along with a demat account, a bank account is also opened in the name of the investor. So, if Mr. B is based in Dubai and he opens a PMS account with us, we'll open a bank account, a demat account in the name of Mr. B, plus a PIS account will be there for all the reporting purposes which are there. So once this account is opened, after that, all Mr. B needs to do is transfer funds. Most of our NRI clients will already have existing PIS accounts. So either it will be with HDFC or ICICI. In that case, an extension account is opened and there's not too much of additional work. However, in case the existing PIS account is with some other bank, then that PIS account has to be closed and a new PIS account has to be opened with HDFC or ICICI Bank. So that's the difference between how the structure and the operationally it is different between for resident and NRI investors. Can you mute once, please? So once the investment starts, the other important part is regular reporting. So there will be detailed reporting. There will be a website where you will get login credentials and you can see all your monthly reportings here, including holdings, transactions, detailed fact sheets, their capital gain statements which are generated. All the standard and as well as regulatory reportings will be available from day one when we launch. Plus, we will have our usual interactions through webinars, etc. as well. Now, I'll reiterate why we have gone for a PMS license. Operationally, it is much easier for all our clients. Why it is operationally very easier? All you need to do is open an account once with us, transfer your existing securities or cash through bank transfer, and after that we take care of all your investment. Right now we send you an advice. You have to keep a track of the advice, execute the advice, update in our website. But once we are PMS, none of this is required. Our team, our portfolio management services team will take care of all the execution of buy and sell advices, reconciliation of all of them, reconciliation of cash holdings, stock holdings, everything. The most important part is For small and mid-cap stocks where liquidity is important, we will plan and implement the execution. We will have dedicated dealers who will do that. The job of the dealers is to figure out how to procure which stock without impacting the liquidity much. And when we will be doing it for all the clients together, there will be reasonable volumes and we will do it in the right way. So once the PMS is there, after that, once somebody wants to do an additional investment, it can be done, simply by doing some simple requirements of filling up the forms and transferring the amount. Or the additional investment can be done in the form of transferring stocks as well. Similarly, redemption request can be given by filling up a form and submitting, and we will do liquidation of the securities and transfer the amount back to the bank account from which the funds have come. So basically in practice, it will be as simple as investing in a mutual fund once your account opening is done. So now I would request all of you to send your questions so that we can take them one by one and answer them. Can we just be on mute for a minute, please?
So I think many of the investors have actually written down their questions. You all can write any of them in the chat box just below the video. Okay, the first question, and I think I can see this by a lot of investors. This is by Shishir. Is PMS mandatory for the Mojo Infinity members?
No, it is not mandatory. I think the way I would request everyone to look at this is, it is better for you if you move to PMS. The reason is simple. All the operational aspects, all the buying and selling, taking, you don't have to worry about whether new advice has come in or not, whether I'll be able to execute it today or not, at what price should I execute. All these aspects will be taken away from you. You don't have to bother about that. All you need to do is look at the performance, look at the holdings, reporting, etc., which will be given. Everyone will be given access to through a login. So while it is not mandatory, we believe it is much more beneficial for each and every investor in terms of operational ease.
Okay, I'll move to this next particular question. This is by Vishwam. What's the minimum amount of the coming PMS? If one had, let's say, a portfolio of less than 20 to 30 lakhs, will they be considered?
So as I mentioned earlier, the regulatory requirement for PMS is a minimum of rupees 50 lakhs in each scheme. For example, we launch both Soul and Power. For Soul, it is rupees 50 lakhs minimum. For Power, it is rupees 50 lakhs minimum. If somebody has 20 or 30 lakhs currently in an Infinity portfolio, the balance can be added in the form of cash. So I'll give an example here. Suppose you have current securities holding of 20 lakhs in Soul and you want to start move Soul to PMS. In that case, the 20 lakhs worth of securities can be moved to Soul PMS and the balance 30 lakhs can be transferred in the form of cash to a bank transfer from your bank account. So a total of 50 lakhs is the minimum. That's a regulatory requirement.
Okay, moving on to this next particular question. This is by Mr. A.V. Rao. Can the Demat account be in joint names?
Yes, the Demat account can be in joint name, both for resident Indians as well as for NRIs. So there is no restriction in having a joint name in Demat and bank account. However, if our understanding is correct, from a taxation perspective, the first holder is considered the primary holder. So joint account is definitely possible both for resident investors as well as for NRIs.
Okay, I can see a lot of actually questions coming on this. Is there any clarity on the fee structure currently?
Yes. So with respect to fee structure, while as I mentioned, there will be a detailed launch presentation for the PMS service. There we will cover the fee structures, we will cover all the strategy related questions, etc. However, I will briefly mention the following points. The fee structure will be combination of one of these three. So there could be only a performance-based fee structure. There could be a fee structure where we have a small portion of fixed fee and a performance fee, or there could be a only fixed fee based structure. We will present all of these options, and investor can choose any one. So, however, the most important part is the fee structure will be as competitive, as good as we have currently in Infinity. It will in no way be inferior to what we have in Infinity from a client's perspective.
Okay, I think Abhishek, you already covered this, but a lot of investors are still asking them. This one by Dilip. I'm having a Demat account with ICICI Direct. Do such investors also need to open fresh Demat accounts?
So what happens in a PMS is, other than signing a PMS agreement, a power of attorney is also signed by the investor. Now understand what this power of attorney is for. The power of attorney is given to the portfolio manager to credit and debit the Demat account with the securities. So when the securities are purchased, it is the Demat accounts get credited. When the securities are sold, the Demat account get debited. So basically the regulations require a separate Demat account to be opened, because no investor would be comfortable giving a power of attorney to a portfolio manager in their usual broking account. So also from the perspective of clarity of which holdings are there, reconciliation, etc., as well as regulatory requirement, over time it has become kind of mandatory that a Demat account is separately opened for a new PMS account. So if you are invested in 3 PMSs, each of them will have separate Demat account. But within a PMS, if you're investing in 2 different schemes, one Demat account is sufficient. Once you have opened one single Demat account, after that new accounts are not needed. And nowadays, the process has become so simple that one can open a Demat broking account, all of them combined together for an individual online in a matter of 15 to 20 minutes. So yes, a Demat account is compulsory. It will be opened in the name of the investor, and it will be a separate Demat account from your ICICI Direct or Zerodha or HDFC Securities Demat account. Thank you.
Yeah. Moving on to this next particular question. This is by Mr. Balasundaram. Abhishek ji, thanks for the session on this. Much awaited by all of us. I have two questions. One is, I have invested 52.22 lakhs in Infinity Power, but the current value is 49.8 lakhs. Am I expected to top up in cash or stocks for current value to reach this 50 lakhs amount? Also, let's assume I do the top up now. Will you recognize the total invested value as 52.2 plus 1 lakh top up?
Right. Thank you for the questions. So I'll take one at a time. The first one is related to whether a top up will be needed. So yes, if the current value is less than 50 lakhs, when you are transferring to PMS, it will be needed. All of this will be under the PMS regulations. So the requirement there is that no one can start a new account without a minimum of rupees 50 lakhs. Even post redemption, the minimum has to be 50 lakhs. If the portfolio value falls below 50 lakhs, that is different. However, at any point in time, the investor has to maintain an investment of 50 lakhs. So for example, you start with 50 lakhs, it can fall to 45 lakhs, it can go up to 55 lakhs. But if it is at 55 lakhs, you cannot redeem 10 lakhs because the value will come below 50 lakhs. So similarly, when you're starting, it has to be minimum 50 lakhs. So you have 52.22 lakhs in Infinity Power. Currently, it is valued at 49.08 lakhs. So yes, you have to add in another 92,000 to bring it to 50 lakhs, so that when you start the PMS, it is minimum 50 lakhs. The second question is, let's assume that I do the top up now. Will you recognize the total investment value at 52.2 lakhs plus 1 lakh top up? Now, the way it works is both are different licenses. There we are operating under the advisory license. Even if you top up there, that 52.2 plus 1 lakh, that 53.2 lakhs of capital you brought in, then go down further to 48, it can go up to 55. Irrespective, it doesn't matter. At the time when you're starting the PMS, at that point in time, it has to be minimum 50 lakhs. So PMS will be a new account, new relationship from a regulatory perspective. So all of that will be have to be maintained at that point in time. So in case you're looking to top up now, you can top up. But at that point in time, the minimum value has to be 50 lakhs.
Okay. Moving to this next set of questions, this is by Imtiaz. Dear Abhishek, to manage a PMS with high level of accuracy and prompt customer service, it requires qualified talent. How is MarketsMojo prepared with it?
So, in fact, it's a very good and valid question, Imtiaz. We have already, started hiring and rolling out offers. We have hired few people for our operations team, for our dealers requirement, as well as requirement for customer service. So, all the requisite manpower which we need, other than the technology systems, we have done the necessary things. So, in fact, as you would know that there because of the reconciliation of trades, ensuring that the trades are combined and executed properly, and again, once they're executed, they are divided between clients properly. All of that requires proper systems. So we are implementing all of those. We are, getting in the best systems possible in India right now, which are available, and also with respect to manpower, we are hiring the right manpower. So we have already started doing all of that. So we are very much well prepared. And in fact, one of the most important part for a client will be, other than onboarding, is the regular updates. So even when we launch, we'll be ready with all of that. So from day one, you will have a login access to see all your reporting. So the onboarding will be taken care of by us, by ensuring that even if you required an offline account opening or you want to do it online, most part of it will be done by us. And all you will need to do is doing the verifications in terms of OTP verification, signing the documents through Aadhaar authentication, which is very simple nowadays. So in terms of, advent of technology, a lot of these work has got reduced for us as well as the client, but also a lot of reporting, etc., has become easier. So yes, we are well prepared both in terms of manpower and technological requirement, which is needed to launch PMS.
Okay, moving on to this question, Mr. Jose. If someone opts to do buy and sell on their own, then what will be the strategy for those members?
So if somebody wants to continue doing buying and selling on their own, those members can continue with Mojo Infinity. We do understand some of us really, like to do that buy and sell ourselves. For them, the Mojo Infinity, the current arrangement will continue. Of course, both of Mojo Infinity and the PMS will be an equal focus for us. But as I said earlier, we applied for the license. We went and got the license ahead only because of the feedback which we have received from all of you. That yes, we want to do away with the operational aspect. But we will run both of them, and you can choose to be wherever you are.
Okay, moving on to this next question by one of the investors. How safe is the investment with any PMS house, as they will be having a full control of the bank account and the trading account?
So, there are two aspects to that. For a resident investor, a bank account is not opened. It's a pool bank account, number one. Number two, all the securities and cash balances are in the control of the custodian, and they execute trades only as per the limited POA. When a POA is given, it's a limited POA. It's not a all-encompassing POA. It is POA only for the purposes of doing investments as per the strategy. PMS over the last, it started way back in 95, if I'm not wrong, or 1993. So over the last 27 to 30 years, PMS has evolved a lot in terms of regulations. SEBI has ensured that now in the current structure, it is so clear-cut and watertight that right from what is to be done in case one doesn't get enough securities, to how to do the reconciliation, who is responsible for what, and having quality names like ICICI Bank, HDFC, Axis, Kotak doing the custodian job. All of this has ensured that an investor need not be worried about. The way a mutual fund operates, where there is a separate custodian, there is a separate broker, there is a separate bank account. Similarly, PMS operates in a similar manner. All the investment manager does is decides on the investment strategy, plans which stocks to buy, and the dealer buys that. After that, the settlement, the reconciliation, all of that is done by the custodian. The custodian is responsible for that. There is no bank account open for a resident investor. And whenever a redemption has to happen, the redemption request has to come from the investor, the custodian verifies that only after that they will transfer the funds back to the investor's bank account. The funds can be transferred back only to the investor's bank account. The securities in your demat account, which is with the PMS, can be transferred back only back to your demat account. Only when you give a redemption request. Without that, we can't. It's as good as you buying and selling in your demat account, but here we are doing the buying and selling as per the soul and power strategies. Nothing outside of that. We can't do any extra buying and selling. If, for example, we say that power can't have more than 20% allocation to small cap. So as per regulatory requirement, we're anyway bound to ensure that here as well. So the custodian only ensures that we follow all the rules and regulations. Of course, we are PMS, SEBI regulated. There are regular audits, etc. When it comes to NRIs, a bank account opening is mandatory because there are certain additional regulations of RBI like PIs, etc., which have to be fulfilled. Even there is a PIs extension account, and out of your entire pool of funds, the one which you've invested in the PMS, only that part of the money is used for investment. There again, the same controls are there. The custodian ensures that the securities cash are reconciled and they can be transferred back only back to the investor's bank account again at their request. So if somebody wants to redeem or they want to close, only then the funds are transferred back or the securities are transferred back. Otherwise, all that a portfolio manager is supposed to do and can do is buy the securities or sell the securities as per the investment mandate. I hope I have clarified this. I wanted this answer to be a bit detailed so that this aspect is clarified. It's a very genuine, valid concern.
Okay, moving to the next set of questions. This is by Samarth. Is there any lock-in period for PMS? If I need money urgently, can we advise MarketsMojo to sell some shares?
Yes, there is no lock-in in PMS. Even regulatory, it is very clear, a PMS cannot have lock-in. And whenever you want to redeem funds, you can redeem. However, as per the requirement, a minimum of 50 lakhs has to be maintained.
Okay. This question by Dilip: how transparent will the system be towards the end client?
So, the reporting structure is as such that all the it's your demat account. Anyway, you will have the access to all the transactions done. You will get a detailed transaction reporting. You will get a detailed sectoral holding, stock holding, what is the cash balances in your portfolio. You will get a detailed monthly fact sheet. So it is as transparent as simply you doing the investment yourself directly. So in terms of transparency, I don't see any difference in between doing by purchasing and selling your stocks on your own versus investing through a PMS.
Okay, next question by Soundararajan. What are the distinct advantages of going through a PMS? Is there any guarantee for suitable returns on investment?
So I'll take the second questions first. Returns in no form of equity investment is guaranteed. So even in PMS, it is not guaranteed. You are subject to the risks of equity markets. In terms of the advantages, so vis-a-vis the current structure which we have, as I said, the biggest advantage is in terms of operational ease and what it translates into. The operational ease is very simple. Once you have opened the account, transfer the funds to us, we will take care of everything when it comes to investment. Right now, we communicate to you what is to be bought. Now we will communicate to a dealer what is to be bought, how much to be bought, at what price. The dealer will do the execution, the custodian will do the settlement, the custodian will do the reconciliation and ensure that all the necessary securities are credited to the investor's bank account. Nothing else is to be done from your side except for transferring the initial funds. Now, what is the other big advantage other than taking out your operational deck? A lot of our recommendations are small and mid-cap stocks. And at times, in bad market conditions as well in regular market conditions, some of them can be illiquid. What we try and do, in fact, all PMSs do is through their dealers, try and ensure that a minimal impact cost when it comes to purchase and sale. They do minimal impact cost by ensuring that the quantities are discrete and the information is available to a limited set of people as necessary, required. And therefore, it also enhances the potential return because the impact cost is much lesser. So other than the operational aspect, I think one big advantage is the impact cost gets reduced and it enhances the returns.
Okay, moving to this next question. This is by Ramanujam. In case of an NRI, tax is deducted upfront on sale and purchase. How will you be managing that?
So whenever there are multiple ways which is being done right now by existing PMS houses, and we are also discussing those operational aspects. But one of the common way which is being done is that you show that as a redemption, and it's not part of the PMS pool after that. So just to clarify to everyone, the question is related to TDS which is deducted for NRIs. That's a requirement, and the obligation is on the PIS, the bank which has the PIS. So in our case, what will happen is the account will be opened either with HDFC Bank or ICICI Bank. And for NRIs, only for NRIs, not for resident Indians, only for NRIs, they will do a TDS on the gains in case of sale transactions. And suppose you purchase a security at 100, we sell at 120, 20 is the gain, and the tax is at 2.2 on 20. That will be deducted by the custodian and deposited with the income tax authorities. We will show the 2.2 as redemption. That is one way of doing it, and most of the houses are doing it that way. But we are still discussing and debating that, and we will have the right solution as per what the industry is following.
Okay, this question by Javed. Will we have access to the live portfolio at any time?
See, in most cases you will have access to live portfolio, but what we are also discussing is that whether a slightly delayed reporting is beneficial for everyone from the perspective that if you are purchasing a stock or selling a stock, you would want that to be slightly delayed. That is in the interest of each and every client here. So even the structure is such that it enables us to ensure that the impact cost is minimal through disclosure at the right time. So while we will disclose the entire portfolio and all the transactions, it may be slightly delayed depending on what final decisions we take.
Okay, this next question. Abhishek, you mentioned that the value invested in PMS cannot be below 50 lakhs, which is mandatory or regulatory. However, if there is an emergency and we need to come out of the PMS, can that be done anytime?
Yes, I think the same question was asked by someone else as well, and I think it is good to repeat this. What is important to know is in PMS there is no lock-in. An investor can redeem whenever they want. So there is no lock-in in PMS. One can redeem whenever they want. However, we would want to highlight that, like the way we are doing in Infinity, Mojo Infinity, these are 3 to 5 years investment. So do invest if you have that time horizon in mind. But of course, if the funds are needed for emergency, it can be redeemed at any point in time. So a redemption request is to come, we will sell the securities and transfer back the funds. It will be done by the custodian into your bank account again.
Okay, this question by Mr. K.S. Brar. Buying, selling impact cost has been to the tune of even 5% now. Can you quantify general impact cost in the PMS?
So it is, very difficult to comment right now. Anyway, we will have a detailed launch presentation on PMS, where we will talk about the strategy, the pricing and all these aspects. So, this is something which we'll have an answer by the time we launch on. But, right now it is difficult to quantify because we are not even live with it.
Okay, this one by Soundarajan. Will there be any commission charges applicable on buy and sell of scripts, which you will do on behalf of the PMS customer?
So, the brokers will charge a brokerage and, we will kind of negotiate the best possible rates with all the brokers, and only the brokerage will be charged by the brokers. There is nothing to be charged by us on the buy and sell transactions. All we will charge is a management fee or a performance fee, depending on what structure we agree on.
Okay, this question by Mr. Bangaria. Is the power of attorney given to portfolio managers to authorize the purchase and sell of shares?
Yes, it's a limited power of attorney. And because the demat account is in your name, we cannot, operate it unless we have an authorization from you. So it's a limited power of attorney to operate the demat account only for the purposes of investment.
Okay, this question by Mr. Manikantan. Is it possible to open an NRO account, and if yes, what are the formalities?
Sorry, if you can repeat the question. NRO account
And what are the formalities with that?
So, NRO account will be as simple as a resident account. I don't think even a PIS is needed there. For NRE, PIS will be needed. And, it will be a simple opening of a bank account, demat account, and doing the, signing the PMS agreement and the power of attorneys. Post that, one can just transfer the money into the relevant, extension account of the NRO account, and the investments can start. So it's a very simple process: opening of bank and demat account and signing the agreements. Once that is done, after that it's a day-to-day activity of we managing it, and nothing else to be needed from the investor.
Okay, this next question, Mr. Lambert. Do we need to top up the account whenever the portfolio value falls below 50 lakhs? If yes, then how often, monthly or quarterly?
No, you don't need to top up if the portfolio values falls below 50 lakh. As I clarified earlier, suppose you start with 50 lakhs, that's a regulatory minimum. The portfolio values falls to 45, nothing is to be done. If it goes back to 55, goes up to 55, after that you can redeem up to 5 lakhs, so that the minimum is 50 lakhs. At any point in time, post-redemption, it has to be a minimum value of 50 lakhs. But if you're not redeeming, nothing is to be done. You start with 50, it can fall to 45, it can fall to 40. No top-up is needed at any point in time. Just that if you're redeeming, your value cannot go below 50 lakhs. Either you have to redeem fully, or to the extent that at least the value is minimum 50 lakhs.
Okay, Abhishek, that's it with the Q&A session for today.
Yeah, thank you everyone for joining this session today. Our objective was to give you an update, plus also get all your questions, so that by the time we launch, we are prepared for everything and we are able to transition you smoothly from Infinity to the PMS. Thank you again, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great weekend.
Yeah, thanks a lot everyone for joining today's event. I can see a lot of members actually asking for the recording of this video, so we will be sending it to our members, or the recording of the entire event. Tomorrow I'll be in front of the camera at around 7 PM. I'll be helping you all to pick up undervalued stocks in the current market. Looking forward to seeing you all come for the events. Goodbye and have a great evening. Thank you so much.